started, even though the Maitis were mostly Hindu and the Kukis were mostly Christian, I don't think either community saw this as a communal clash. There were many other clash. There was a court order. It was about a certain legal status. It was an ethnic clash, but it was not a communal clash. And I think the same point is being made by Rais Ahmed Tampak about what has happened in Lilong, where his community dominates. But how do you see this? We keep forgetting it's been more than 7 months. The chief minister right now is front facing. In a way, he was criticized for not being 7 months ago. Professor Haukip, you're here in Delhi. What is the news you're getting from your people in Manipur?
You know, I can't totally deny that there is a communal angle in this ethnic class also, because why do more than 200-300 churches were deliberately burned, during the initial days of this violence? So that has to be looked into. Why are you against churches, which has nothing to do with ethnicity? So that is the question that keeps on lingering. But apart from that, I would also wanted to take away from Mr. Ahmed kind of analysis that despite being those four people who were murdered yesterday being denied by the community that they are drug peddlers or sellers, and on the other hand, the RPF, which is a political organization of the PLA, claims that they have been given a punishment based on their involvement. So what we can take away from this is that the state government is unable to control the law and order situation in the valley.
But
That the
Professor
insurgent
Haukip,
groups are
I
roaming
want to show
around,
you.
and you
Sorry,
have the radical groups who are loitering with guns and RPGs. And we have never looked into the law and order
but
situation
when you look,
from
but Professor
security
Haukip,
point of.
But
Yes.
Professor Haukip, when we look at what's happening in Moreh today, a Kuki leader released these images. He alleged that women and children have been targeted in a disproportionate way. But he also acknowledged that the gunfight involved firing at state forces, right? The Kuki tribal leaders are accepting that in this exchange of fire, state forces, i.e., the state police, have been fired on. And we now know that state police men have been injured, four of them. A BSF Jawan has also been injured. So, how do we make sense of these competing narratives,
Yes,
Professor Hauke?
Barkha, we have to look at this way. When the violence started on 3rd May and on 4th May, if you look into some of even the evidence on videos, you would see that the state police had been involved in this kind of violence. There are a lot of evidences. So the Kuki people find that the state forces are perpetrators of this kind of violence, and they don't trust. So there's absolutely no trust on the state police forces. So they always requested that the central forces should be stationed in the buffer zone or in Moreh or anywhere else. So their demand is that let the commandos who had been recently forcefully placed in Moreh should be taken away to Imphal Valley, and the
Hmm.
central security forces would take over. And despite that, there is a kind of informal agreement that whenever the commandos or the police forces patrol around Moreh, it should be accompanied by central forces. But on the 1st of January or previous to that, there are instances where the state forces are doing the patrolling by themselves, breaking those kind of
But why?
enforcement
But why
with
are why would the
community
people
leaders and
fire at them? Okay, so here is the point, Dr. Ali. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we have a situation here where Professor Haukip says that the state forces were not accompanied by the central forces. The state forces say our men have been injured. The civilian groups, can we play those pictures again? The civilian groups release these images, the tribal civilian groups, and they say women and children are being targeted, our people are being picked up, we are being fired upon. The government says no, these are actually foreign militant linked attacks. And then we have this statement, this RPF statement. I'm just trying to pull this up. which is taking responsibility for the incident at Lilong. What has happened with the Manipuri Muslims? What has happened with areas dominated by them? Can you talk a little bit about this RPF? And in the meantime, we also have statements from the Kuki group saying that these are attacks by state forces and mighty militant groups. So the Kuki groups are accusing the mighty militant groups of acting in tandem with the state police. Kuki leaders are saying यहाँ पे central forces होने चाहिए थे, यहाँ पे state forces आए. Chief Minister is saying these are foreign linked groups. And then we have the RPF, the political wing of one of the state's most powerful armed rebel groups, the PLA, formed in 1978 to liberate, quote unquote, Manipur, which clearly is a secessionist group. So we are seeing secessionism mixed up with ethnic strife. It's a really dangerous cocktail. Dr. Ali.
Right, Megha.
Barkha,
Barkha.
not Megha, same family
Sorry,
of
Barkha, I'm so
clouds
sorry.
to rain, so not a far not too much of a disassociation, but go ahead. Yeah,
Okay, Barkha. I'm so sorry. I mean, it just slipped my tongue because.
no
So
problem.
now the
No problem.
thank you. So the very fact is, you know, whether it was a foreign hand or not, that the inquiry will tell, of course. And whatever it is, the reason is it is the responsibility of the government of the day over there to take care of its citizens, whether a foreign hand comes in or it's a local hand over there.
Right.
Now, you have to protect them. And I'm talking about the state government over there. They have to protect all the communities, all the tribes, all the people. One cannot wait for an incident to happen and then say, "Arey, हमें नहीं पता ये बाहर से आए हैं, आए कहीं से भी हों." The very fact, of course, it's a fact that right from the very beginning, the cookies have lost faith in they've lost confidence in the state police force because of the arms loot, the famous arms loot that took place over there. In fact, very, very sad. Now, that's why they would have more faith and trust in the central forces like the army.
And the
Of course,
reverse is true, right? Unfortunately, mighty groups targeted the Assam Rifles.
right.
Kuki groups don't trust the police forces. Mighty community doesn't trust the Assam Rifles.
Why mighty groups don't trust the Assam Rifles is in my perception, because I feel that
Tragically, I mean, I'm just saying it's tragic, and the army played a big role in trying to transcend these differences and work for both communities.
you're right. See, the Assam Rifles has done a very, very good job, actually, commendable job. I can vouch with conviction over there. In fact, this is the Assam Rifles tie that I'm wearing. And the Assam Rifles they had protected anyone who would be victimized without asking. Whichever caste, creed, religion, tribe, area, region you are from, they would protect them. They would give them aid. And yes, it's a fact that there were a lot of Kuki who were victimized, who the Assam Rifles had protected, not because they are cookies, no, but because they were victimized. If unfortunately anyone, it could have been a Mr. It could have been a Mighty also. If they would have been victimized, Assam Rifles would have gone out of the way to protect them as well.
Okay, now what happens when there are such differences in the narrative of what's being put forward? I want to take final comments now. I'll start with you, Professor Hauke. What can happen now? It's been 8 months. The people also must be tired. We're seeing the tribal groups falling. All right. We are seeing the tribal groups also condemning what has happened. They're claiming one thing. The mighty groups are claiming one thing. The chief minister is claiming a militant link. What happens next? Go ahead, Professor Hauke.
Yes, Barkha, the cookies will never, talk about peace unless they have their political settlement. So, political settlement, whatever big, whatever small it would be, which is, minimally acceptable to them, should be put forward to them so as to initiate peace. So, the central government and the state governments should also listen to the grievances of the cookies right now. Otherwise, any kind of peace talks will not be acceptable to the cookies. And the state government should also rethink about, posting commandos in Moreh. and they should divert it to controlling the law and order situation in Imphal, where the insurgent groups are roaming freely,
But
taking
Professor Hawkins,
law into their hand
tell
and
me this
killing
now.
whatever
ITLS.
they want right now.
I
So
have
that should be
I have a
a
question. I have a
state.
question. There is a 24-hour shutdown that has been called by the tribal groups, right? And they are basically protesting not just what they call or they allege are mighty armed groups, but also the Manipur police. Basically, what they are refusing to answer to the state forces. This is the Kuki groups. How will we move forward like this?
When the state forces are acting, against a certain community instead of controlling the law and order situation, how will this community trust such forces? So they should be, out of any kind of negotiation or any kind of,
So we
independence
need
directive.
central. So you want central forces in the hill areas, and that is the main thing. Now I want to bring
Like
in Rai.
I will totally agree with Major Ali that the central government forces are not siding with the cookies. They are in the front lines or in the buffer zone, trying to thwart any kind of crossing or
To
any
keep the
attacks
peace,
on both
to
the
keep the
sides.
peace, to keep the peace for both sides. Now, I
Definitely, they
want
will
to,
be.
yeah, I want to bring in Rais Bhai right now. What is the situation in your areas in Lilong if the death toll were to rise, as it might, unfortunately, because several have been critically injured? What is your group decided to do? You've said it's not communal. We have a statement from the secessionist group, the RPF, now taking responsibility. Does that change anything?
As of now, the situation is completely under control, I can say, and the concerned authorities, I can say, the concerned government is like giving so much of like inputs, and this uh, unfortunate incident. So yeah, I can say under control. So and I don't think there will be a kind of like a communal violence, because since we as a minority community always try our best to be part of this peace building measures, not rather to be like problem creator for our both the communities, which is really unfortunately it is happening. I already told you earlier my interview as well. So in this juncture, yes, why they are doing this mercilessly, we should know, and the government, the concerned authorities should intervene this process, and the victims should get this justice. That is
Yes,
our priority as of now. So
yes.